Barron Trump has been making headlines more than ever, and it's easy to see why. As the youngest son of President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania Trump, he has spent his entire life in the public eye. Yet, despite his high-profile lineage, Barron has largely remained a mystery to the world, until now. From supporting his father's political career to securing a spot at NYU's business school on his own merit, Barron has been quietly building his future. But what truly caught everyone's attention recently wasn't just his academic achievements or public appearances, it was the simple act of speaking. For the first time in years, people got to hear his voice, and what he said left many stunned. "I'm in the business, it's very nice to see you, very nice." That single line made waves because Barron, despite growing up in the White House, has spent most of his life out of the spotlight. His journey began in 2005 when Donald and Melania, just months after their wedding, discovered they were expecting. Melania later admitted that her husband was caught off guard by the news. At first, he needed a moment to take it in, she recalled, though he quickly warmed up to the idea. "I expected we'd have kids," Donald later said, "but I was surprised at how fast it happened." Barron was born on March 20th, 2006, making him Donald's fifth child and Melania's first. His early years were spent in luxury, growing up in the family's extravagant New York City penthouse at Trump Tower. He attended prestigious private schools on Manhattan's Upper West Side, enjoying a privileged but relatively private childhood. When Donald won the presidency in 2016, Melania made the rare decision to stay behind in New York with Barron instead of moving to Washington immediately. She wanted him to finish his school year at Columbia Grammar and Preparatory School before making the big transition to the White House. Unlike his older siblings, Ivanka, Donald Jr., Eric, and Tiffany, who were heavily involved in their father's political career, Barron was intentionally kept out of the political spotlight. Even after graduating high school in May 2024 and enrolling at NYU that fall, he continued to maintain a low profile. However, in July, he made a rare public appearance at his first-ever campaign rally, standing beside his father as he addressed supporters. Donald even joked from the podium, "You're pretty popular. He might be more popular than Don and Eric." Despite his father's 2024 presidential campaign, Barron largely remained behind the scenes. He even turned down an invitation to serve as an at-large delegate for Florida at the Republican National Convention, citing prior commitments. Yet, when Donald went on to defeat Vice President Kamala Harris in the election, Barron stood alongside his family for the victory speech, marking a significant moment in his public presence. Those close to Barron say Melania has played a key role in shaping his future. One insider revealed, "She is his world, and she's incredibly proud of him. From his education to his career decisions, she's always been the one calling the shots, and that's not changing anytime soon." Unlike many children of political figures, Barron has maintained a level of privacy that his mother worked hard to protect. Even his name carries an interesting backstory. Donald has always liked the name Barron, but admitted he hesitated to use it. "I always loved the name, but I never had the guts to use it," he once confessed. He initially suggested it to Melania, but tried to backtrack later, only for her to insist, "You can't take it away. I've been calling him Barron while he's been in my stomach." And just like that, the name stuck. Barron Trump's upbringing was undeniably privileged, but it was also carefully structured to ensure a sense of stability despite the unique circumstances of growing up as the son of a U.S. president. His early education took place at Columbia Grammar and Preparatory School, one of New York City's most prestigious institutions. Even after his father assumed office in 2017, Barron remained in New York for the remainder of the school year, a decision made to minimize disruptions in his academic and social life. During his final year at Columbia, he made a notable gesture, arranging for his entire fifth-grade class, roughly 80 students, to take a special trip to Washington, D.C. Accompanied by teachers and Secret Service agents, the group toured the White House, met President Trump, and explored the Capitol before returning home. The experience offered a rare glimpse into Barron's generosity and willingness to share his unique world with his classmates. Later that year, it was announced that Barron would be attending St. Andrew's Episcopal School in Potomac, Maryland. This decision set him apart from past first children, including the Obamas, Bushes, and Clintons, who all attended the elite Sidwell Friends School. The Trumps, however, opted for a different private institution, one that came with a staggering $40,000 a year tuition. The choice sparked curiosity, but those close to the family suggested it was simply about finding the best academic environment for Barron's needs rather than following tradition. Fast forward to today, and Barron Trump is no longer just the quiet, reserved child the world once saw standing beside his parents. Now a young adult, he stands at an imposing 6'7", and is beginning to carve out his own space in the world. While speculation swirls about his future, opinions remain divided. Some believe he could follow in his father's footsteps, either in business or politics, while others think he may take a completely different route, perhaps in technology, finance, or even sports. Regardless of the path he chooses, one thing is clear. Barron Trump is stepping out of the background, and people are eager to see what he does next. After Donald Trump's presidency ended in 2021, Barron and his mother relocated to Florida, where he enrolled at Oxbridge Academy, a private school in Palm Beach. He later graduated with the class of 2024, marking another milestone in his carefully curated upbringing. Looking back, Donald admitted that his son had some reservations about leaving New York for Washington, D.C. at just 9 years old. He had a great school, lots of friends, Donald recalled. But I told him, if this happens, Daddy will help people, including kids like you. And that made him happy. Despite the challenges of the transition, Donald remained proud of his youngest son, calling him a terrific kid, strong, smart, and he gets it. Despite being kept largely out of the public eye, Barron wasn't completely shielded from negativity. Growing up in the White House meant constant media attention, and while he was rarely the focus, he occasionally found himself targeted online. However, some unexpected allies came to his defense. Chelsea Clinton, who had first-hand experience growing up in the White House under public scrutiny, publicly urged people to leave Barron alone, writing on social media, "It's high time the media and everyone else back off and let Barron Trump have the private childhood he deserves." Jenna Bush Hager, another former first daughter, echoed similar sentiments, expressing her frustration over the attacks against him. "It makes me angry," she admitted. At the end of the day, he never asked his dad to run for president. Beyond his carefully maintained privacy, Barron also possesses a unique skill that sets him apart. He is bilingual. Fluent in both English and Slovenian, he was able to communicate with his maternal grandparents in their native language from a young age. Melania once shared that he would frequently call his grandmother and speak exclusively in Slovenian, a habit that helped him stay connected to his European roots. However, despite appreciating multilingualism, both Melania and Donald were firm about emphasizing English as his primary language. "The more languages you know, the better," Melania once said. "But in America, you speak English." Melania's influence on Barron has been profound, shaping both his upbringing and his future. Throughout her time as First Lady, she maintained a reputation for being private and reserved, and that didn't change after leaving Washington. Those close to the family have described her as deeply focused on her son, prioritizing his well-being above all else. Her friends are her family, an insider revealed in 2023. People at Mar-a-Lago know her, but they're not her friends. She doesn't socialize or gossip. She has always surrounded herself with family, and she's incredibly protective of Barron. Specifically, Barron's maternal grandmother, Amalia Knobs, was a key element of his support system. Barron's grandparents were a significant part of his support system. Melania Trump's parents played a significant part in his life after the Trump family relocated to the Mar-a-Lago estate. They assisted in his upbringing while his father was preoccupied with politics and business. Amalia, his grandma, passed away in January of 2024, which was a sad event. Even though she has suffered a loss, Melania has not changed her ultimate priority, which is to make sure that Barron has a seamless transition into maturity and to provide him with assistance as he navigates the next chapter of his life. It has been stated by many with knowledge of the situation that her commitment to Barron is so great that she has decided to withdraw from Donald Trump's campaign for the 2024 election in order to concentrate only on her son. At the same time that Barron is beginning his journey through college at New York University, Doubts regarding his future continue to excite and fascinate. Do you think he will follow in his father's footsteps? Or do you think he will forge his own path in a completely new field? With his knowledge, personality, and one-of-a-kind point of view, he has already established himself as a figure of attraction, despite the fact that he mostly keeps to himself. Barron Trump is no longer merely a background character in family photographs. Rather, he is beginning to tread into his own territory, and the entire world is watching to see what happens next. Melania has made it a point to be a responsible mother to Barron throughout the years, despite the fact that he has always been on the more reserved side. According to a source, she has always prioritized her family, juggling her work with charitable organizations with the responsibility of ensuring that everything at home runs well. During a campaign event in Iowa in January 2024, Donald even made a joke about his kid's growth, pointing out that his son, who is now a teenager and stands about 6 feet 7 inches tall, now towers over him. According to him, Barron's height was a result of the numerous home-cooked meals that his late grandma, Amalia Knobs, who was Melania's mother, prepared for him. Donald spoke to Barron as a special boy and recalled a chat that they had about sports as he was giving his speech. I told him, "You are going to be a basketball player." That was my prediction. His response was, "Well, I actually enjoy playing soccer, Dad." I shared with him that, given his height, basketball would be a better option. However, you should be aware that you cannot win every debate. Together with his father, Barron made his first public appearance during the campaign in July of 2024 when they attended a rally in Doral, Florida. Although he was on stage, Donald made a joke about him and pointed out, "You're really popular. One could even argue that you are more well-known than Don and Eric." Afterwards, he turned his attention to his kid and stated, "It is wonderful to have you here. Until now, your life has been so pleasant and uncomplicated, but now things have taken a turn for the worse." The arrival of Barron on the NYU campus was confirmed by the university's security personnel in September of that same year. Agents from the Secret Service were seen standing close when he was seen outside the library. In the same month, Melania gave an interview to Fox News, during which she said that Barron had made the decision to attend college in New York. He decided he wanted to be here, study in New York, and live in his home, according to the woman. I respect that. After that, she went on to remark that he was an incredible young man, telling him that she was proud of his brilliance, strength, and kindness. By December 2024, it appeared that Barron had gained a significant amount of popularity among his peers. People were informed by a source that he was receiving a great deal of attention by students on campus. There is no doubt that people find him to be beautiful because he is tall and handsome. He appears to be liked by even pupils who are liberal. Because of the fact that his existence has been so private, it should not come as a surprise that Barron has developed into a young man who is reticent and quiet. As a result, the internet went absolutely crazy when a video of him speaking was made public. A clip from the documentary series Art of the Surge that went viral recorded the 18-year-old speaking in public for what appeared to be the very first time over the course of the series. "I hope all is well with you." When he greeted a woman by shaking her hand, he said, "It's very nice to see you." After that, he extended the same kind greeting to Dana White, adding, "It's very nice to finally meet you." In a humorous discussion, Trump asked White, "Can we turn him into a fighter?" as laughing broke out all around them. Trump seemed amused by the entire exchange. Following that, Donald proceeded to proudly highlight the amount of affection that Barron was receiving from younger followers. "I gave him a shout-out last night and the place went crazy. 'Barron, Barron,' he said, most likely referring to his son's participation in the campaign. Barron. There was a lot of discussion on the internet about the surprising moment when Barron Trump's voice was finally heard, and the responses ranged from adoration to astonishment. An ecstatic user added, "Like father, like son," while another user took a minute to applaud Melania's parenting, saying, "She did a perfect job keeping him out of the spotlight and raising a gentleman." Melania's kid is a gentleman. What he says is quite powerful. One person made the observation that he sounds like a future president to me. One of the people who recognized potential in him was a leader. Others drew attention to the astonishing quality of his voice, with one reviewer drawing parallels between it and the voice of the Hollywood star Timothée Chalamet. During this point, another individual just expressed their astonishment by saying, "That is the very first time I have ever heard him speak." A great number of people found that the aspect of the event that struck them the most was the degree to which Barron resembled his father. The social media platforms were swamped with comments such as, "OMG, Barron's voice sounds just like Donald's." Others, on the other hand, were more focused on his behavior, praising his quiet confidence and collected way. Not only did one user write, "What a well-mannered young man," but another user added, "Barron is so polite." Despite the fact that Barron has spent his whole life in the public glare, it appears that he has managed to maintain a remarkable level of groundedness, which has left many people intrigued about what his future may bring. The experience of hearing Barron speak for the first time in years left a profound impression on many people who have witnessed his development from a tiny boy living in the White House to a towering college student who is now 18 years old. Another user remarked on his quiet confidence, saying that he would one day enter politics. One user predicted that dude is going to go far with how he was raised, while another person remarked on his quiet confidence. There were several people who pondered on how much he has changed over the past 8 years, and one commenter recalled that Barron has really come a long way in 8 years. The night of the election and the inauguration in 2016 are still fresh in my mind. He is now a young man. He is a man of great intelligence and self-control. His presence left others with a favorable impression, and they described him as soft-spoken but firm, with a strong yet humble energy. In a piece of writing, one individual summed up the fascination by saying, "After all these years, we finally get to hear Barron speak, and it was worth the wait." Considering that Donald Trump has made a discernible shift in his strategy to concentrate more on podcasts and social media rather than traditional media channels, the influence that Barron has had on his father's campaign for the 2024 election has also become a matter of conversation. Those with knowledge of the situation claim that Barron is largely responsible for the success of this pivot, which proved to be very successful in engaging with younger people. It has been reported that he was instrumental in urging his father to adopt alternative venues, and that he assisted in the arrangement of significant podcast appearances that were broadcast to millions of people. Donald also praised his son's achievements, saying that Barron had encouraged him to make an appearance on the Joe Rogan Experience, which turned out to be a bold decision that completely altered the course of events. Trump's appearances on Rogan's podcast, Flagrant with Andrew Schultz and the PBD podcast with Patrick Bet-David, resulted in millions of views, which strengthened his relationship with a younger audience that is actively involved in digital media. Despite the fact that Barron chose to abstain from public participation throughout the campaign, his efforts were not taken into consideration. Even Melania, who appeared in a rare appearance with Fox News, expressed her satisfaction in her son's rising participation in the organization. She spoke about his commitment. "He knows his generation," she remarked, elaborating on how his ideas contributed to the development of his father's audience engagement strategy. It is true that Barron, who is currently a freshman at New York University, does not seek the spotlight very frequently, yet his influence cannot be denied, particularly due to the fact that he physically towers above his father, who is 6 feet 3 inches tall. People are trying to piece together who Barron Trump really is, and his mysterious character continues to captivate the internet. Childhood films have been resurfacing as people try to figure out who he is. There is a video that has gained a lot of popularity that shows him when he was just 4 years old, participating in an interview with his parents and Larry King. "I like my suitcase," the little Barron says with a slight Slovenian accent to King in the video clip. "I like my suitcase." This particular moment has subsequently become a TikTok sound that has gone global, appearing in over 100,000 videos, and even being used by celebrities such as Paris Hilton. In spite of the fact that Donald Trump constantly compliments his son's intelligence and personality, Barron's own comments indicate a profound humility that distinguishes him from other people. For the purpose of the Sales Leadership Summit 2024, Barron had a private conversation with Patrick Bet-David, during which he delivered a profound speech regarding the accomplishments of his father. "Look, no matter what I do, no matter what my brothers do, no matter how much money we make, our success will never come close to what our father had to do. because he really had a hard life. Bet David was impressed by the comment. However, what Barron stated in the following sentence was the one that genuinely stood out. While acknowledging the fact that his own life has been far simpler in comparison to that of his father, he stated, "Not us. It was a simple existence for us." Because of the high amount of self-awareness and gratitude that was displayed in that reply, Bet David referred to Barron as a freaking stud of a kid. It was not only the wisdom of Barron that left an impression, but also his kindness. According to Bet David, the young Trump did not only bid them farewell after their chat, rather, he made it a point to personally accompany them out of the location. "The son of a billionaire president offering to walk us to our car. He's working customer service," Bet David made a joke. However, Barron did not simply escort them outside. Rather, he waited until they were safely inside their vehicle and had driven away before departing. Barron Trump, who is only 18 years old, is demonstrating that he is more than just the youngest child of a former national president. In the eyes of the general public, he has already carved out a place that is filled with adoration and interest thanks to his intelligence, charisma, and quiet confidence for himself. There is one thing that is certain. People are watching, and they are anxious to see what comes next, regardless of whether he enters the business world, the political arena, or something completely new. While everything was going on, Donald Trump continued his final campaign rallies, during which he declared that he would win the election if his followers showed up in large numbers. He recognized that his raspy voice had become a problem while he was speaking to a crowd in North Carolina, but he dug down on his defense of his unique speaking style, which he refers to as the weave. In spite of the fact that he was limited in time, Trump talked for a total of 90 minutes, during which he covered a wide range of themes and later shared some personal advice that he had gotten prior to the election. "Ivanka gave me a call a short while ago. She spreads her affection to each and every person. In reference to his daughter, who has not participated in his campaign for the year 2024, he used the phrase, 'She is wonderful.' And I have a guy who's home with the First Lady. He's 18 years old, recently joined NYU, very smart, and gives me good advice," he said to Barron after turning his attention to him. "And I have a guy who's home with the First Lady." "Dad, take it easy now," Barron reportedly advised Trump, according to Trump's account. "It is not necessary for you to travel too far here." It appeared as though Trump was appreciative of the knowledge as he laughed and referred to his son as very wise. While Trump has maintained his optimism despite the fact that the election is still unpredictable, he has also acknowledged the risks. "It is my sincere hope that everything will turn out fine." As the polls continued to show that the race was close, he assured the crowd that they were in the lead and that all they needed to do was close the gap. To speculate on what the future holds for Barron at this point in time would be premature. His upbringing and hobbies indicate that he has the potential to follow a range of career paths, including those in the fields of business, technology, sports, and even politics. The world will be watching him regardless of whether he chooses to follow in his father's footsteps or build his own path that is entirely his own. Undoubtedly, his upbringing in such a prominent family has had a significant impact on him, and it will be intriguing to observe the manner in which he decides to make use of those experiences. Despite the difficulties that come with being a Trump, Barron's relationship with his family has always been characterized by love and support all throughout his life. There is a particularly strong connection between him and his mother, Melania, who has been a significant figure in his upbringing, putting an emphasis on the importance of respect and kindness. On the other side, his father has instilled in him a strong work ethic, as well as a feeling of drive. Additionally, his older siblings have openly acknowledged their appreciation for him, which highlights the close-knit relationship that exists between them. When Barron reaches the age of majority, the expectations that are placed on him will naturally become different. It is possible that he could choose to live a life that is less public and more private, despite the fact that he has the capability of entering the world of business or politics. No matter what course of action he chooses, there is one thing that is certain. People will continue to be fascinated by him. There is little doubt that Barron Trump's future will be an intriguing one, regardless of whether he chooses to be in the public eye or to remain in the background.